It's only been 2 months since the iPhone 17 lineup was released, and we already have a bunch of leaks and rumors about the upcoming iPhones, specifically the iPhone 18 and the new budget-friendly iPhone 18e. So get a popcorn ready, and here's everything we know. First off, we have the release schedule. Now, I usually leave this one until the end, but this is actually one of the biggest changes that the lineup could bring, and that's splitting the release schedule. Notice how I haven't said next year's iPhone 18s. That's because the iPhone 18 and the iPhone 18e aren't actually expected next year, but only in spring of 2027. This could be the first time in over a decade when Apple may launch the standard iPhone model in the first part of the year and not the fall. The iPhone 2G, 3G, 3GS, and 4 were all launched in June and July. But ever since the iPhone 4S, every single standard and Pro iPhone has been launched in September or October. Budget-friendly iPhones like the iPhone SE, all 3 generations, and even the iPhone 16e, they launched in the spring, usually around March. And now, according to Ming-Chi Kuo, Mark Gurman, and several other sources, Apple is looking to shift the release of the standard iPhone 18 to spring 2027 as well, launching it alongside the budget-friendly iPhone 18e. So does that mean we won't see any new iPhones in 2026? Well, no. We are likely to see the iPhone 17e this spring, and then the iPhone 18 Pros in the fall, including the long-awaited iPhone Fold that, according to Mark Gurman, will be launched alongside the Pro iPhones. But a separate video on that is coming very soon, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. But you know what we probably won't see launched alongside the Pro iPhones? A second generation iPhone Air, as Apple could be canceling the next generation. A video on that coming soon as well. And how do you think that this is a good idea, splitting the release schedule? If you take a look at other manufacturers like Samsung, they also do the same thing, where even the highest end model are split between 2 releases. And the thing is, they can make way more money that way, because if someone wants to buy a new iPhone in September as per the usual schedule, the only option that they will have is buying a Pro model or the iPhone Fold, both of which will be way more expensive, of course. But back to the iPhone 18, let's talk about its performance, because the standard iPhone 18 is said to come with Apple's A20 chip, possibly built on TSMC's brand new 2nm node. According to Ming-Chi Kuo, the A20 chip will use TSMC's newer WMCM packaging, or wafer level multi-chip module, instead of the current INFO tech that Apple has been using so far. Although it's still unclear whether this upgrade will only be for the A20 Pro chip inside the Pro models, or if this will also apply to the standard A20. Now, with this new chip design, the A20 or A20 Pro or both could have the RAM built into the same wafer as the CPU, GPU, and the neural engine instead of being placed next to it. This would mean faster performance, better Apple Intelligence responsiveness, improved power efficiency, and possibly even more internal space saved inside a phone. Speaking of RAM, the standard iPhone 18 may also get bumped to 12GB of RAM, up from 8 on the iPhone 17. This would make it match the current Pro models that already come with 12. And honestly, that would be such a welcome upgrade, as when I was using the iPhone 17, I noticed that it was reloading apps more often from the background compared to the 17 Pro and the Air, both of which do come with 12. As for the iPhone 18e, this will also most likely come with the Apple A20 chip, but probably a binned version with 1 less GPU core, similar to the 16e, which also came with 1 less GPU core compared to the iPhone 16. The iPhone 17e, by the way, which is expected to come early next year, is set to feature the Apple A19 chip, according to Digital Chat Station on Weibo. As for its RAM, I'm fairly certain that the 17e will stay at 8GB, so that, it doesn't overshadow the regular 17. As for the 18e, it's hard to say just yet, but my guess is that it will also stick to 8GB of RAM, just to maintain some differentiation between the standard iPhone 18, that's expected to come with 12, and the 18e. And a quick shout out to UGREEN for their MagFlow chargers that support Qi 2 25W wireless charging for the new iPhone 17s. This pocket-sized 25W 10,000 mAh UGREEN MagFlow magnetic power bank is packed with power and versatility, making it perfect for long trips. That's because it's got a built-in 2-way 30W fast charging cable, which also doubles as a carrying strap. And on top of that, you can top the battery pack quickly or even charge multiple devices via this additional USB-C port. Then, UGREEN's MagFlow 2-in-1 25W wireless charger declutters your desk or bedside table with this clean design that charges your iPhone and AirPods super easily, making the standby mode on the iPhone look super awesome too. There's even a spare port for your Apple Watch charger. Now, back to the very first leaks about the iPhone 18 and the iPhone 18e. So, what else is changing? Well, definitely not the display, at least not the one on the iPhone 18, as the iPhone 17 already received a huge upgrade here. It literally uses the same panel as the iPhone 17 Pro, with the 120Hz refresh rate, the always-on functionality, the 3000 nits of brightness, and the super thin bezels. So even if we don't get any display upgrades, this will still be a fantastic display to use, even in 2027. And if we do see some display upgrades, I'm pretty sure that those will only come to the Pro lineup, once again, making it look superior to the standard version. Still, the iPhone 17's display is just so good, one of the best displays on the market. And of course, you can make it even better with our latest wallpapers. Bolt's new pack, Chrome Currents, is one of my favorites. It looks incredible whether you use it on your iPhone, iPad, or even on your Mac. Link down below. So that was the iPhone 18, but what about the display on the iPhone 18e? Well, this is where things get interesting. You see, the upcoming 17e is actually set to retain the same 6.1-inch 60Hz display, but it will have a dynamic island according to the latest leaks. This means that the display will likely be very similar, if not identical, to the one on the base iPhone 15, which means that it should be significantly brighter outdoors, up to 2000 nits from the current 1200. As for other features like 120Hz and always on, we haven't had any leaks on these, but yeah, I just don't expect that happening to the E version. So now let's talk about the design. First off, the iPhone 18, just like with the display, is likely to remain very similar design-wise to the current iPhone 17 and even the iPhone 16. One change, however, may come to the camera control. And while Apple isn't said to be removing it, they could be simplifying it to reduce costs. On the iPhone 17 models, the camera control button combines capacitive and pressure sensors under the sapphire crystal surface. The capacitive layer handles touch gestures, while the pressure sensor detects taps, presses, and swipes. But according to Weibo leaker Instant Digital, Apple plans to simplify things for the iPhone 18 by removing that capacitive layer and relying solely on pressure sensing for all camera controls. This single sensor setup would actually be very similar to the ones that we have on phones like the Oppo X8 Ultra and the Vivo X200 Ultra, where pressure sensors alone can detect light taps, firm presses, and even sliding gestures. Aside from this, on the iPhone 18 we could also see a smaller dynamic island, still with a separate cutout for the selfie camera according to Instant Digital. And while we don't have any details about the colors of the iPhone 18, the Pro models may come in these beautiful colors like coffee, purple, and burgundy. So make sure to subscribe as we will have a separate video on the Pro models soon. So what about the iPhone 18e's design? Well, that's still quite uncertain, but there have been quite a few leaks on the iPhone 17e's design. This is said to come with a more rounded frame, so very similar to the iPhone 15's design, as the current iPhone 16e design uses the frame of the iPhone 13. And I think it's safe to say that the iPhone 18e will likely have a very similar design to the iPhone 17e, but once we have some more leaks on that, I'll let you guys know. So what about the iPhone 18's cameras? Well, while the Pro models may be getting some upgrades, there isn't much info on the standard iPhone 18 yet, so I'm personally expecting a very similar setup to what we have on the current iPhone 17 with two 48-megapixel sensors, the main and the ultra-wide. As for the selfie camera, the new 18-megapixel center stage camera could be upgraded to a 24-megapixel sensor, but sadly, it may not be coming to the iPhone 18e, as once again, that's a budget-oriented iPhone, and Apple needs to have some separation between its models, so it looks like that one may actually stick with a standard 12-megapixel front camera that we've had for the past few years now. As for the 18e's back camera, I would love to see a second camera here. Having just one on a $600 phone is a tough sell. I know the Air costs $1,000 and it also only has one camera, but at least that has the excuse of being a super thin design. However, the 17e is actually expected to have the same 48-megapixel camera as the 16e. So if the 18e does get an upgrade, it will likely be getting the same larger sensor from the iPhone 16, 17, and 18, which has better low-light performance and slightly more depth of field compared to the 16e's super small sensor. And lastly, let's talk about connectivity, because Apple could be using the next generation C2 modem in the entire iPhone 18 lineup. This would finally bring it in line with Qualcomm's chips that it replaced last year, bringing back millimeter wave 5G and offering better performance and efficiency when compared to the current C1 and C1X modems. But all in all, it looks like the standard iPhone 18 will be a much smaller upgrade than the 17 was compared to the 16, which brought so many new features. so Apple may be a bit more conservative with the next-gen standard iPhone. As for the 18e, this may be a bigger upgrade, especially if the notch goes away and we get the newer iPhone 15 style frame. But aside from that, you just may be better off buying a refurbished iPhone instead for roughly about the same price. And while we don't have any details on the battery or the pricing on any of them, make sure to subscribe, as I'll let you guys know when those leaks start to drop. As always, I'm Daniel, this is Zoneoftech. Check out our latest specs for wallpapers for some awesome designs, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zoneoftech, signing out. Cheers.